Samia Shahid, a vibrant 28-year-old British Pakistani woman, lived a life torn between two worlds. In 2016, she uttered chilling words to her husband. "I'm not coming back alive. I know they're going to kill me." These haunting words preceded her fateful trip to Pakistan. Samia's story is one of cultural clashes and family pressures. This conflict would ultimately lead to betrayal and tragedy. In this video, we'll delve into the life and death of Samia Shahid, exploring the events surrounding her mysterious demise. We'll uncover the cultural tensions, family dynamics, and the ongoing fight for justice that continues to captivate the world. 2. A life torn between two worlds. Samia Shahid's radiant smile concealed a storm brewing within her soul. Born and raised in Bradford, England, to Pakistani immigrant parents, Samia found herself caught between two worlds, each pulling her in opposite directions. On one side stood the vibrant, modern British culture she had grown up in, filled with opportunities and personal freedoms. On the other, the rich traditions and expectations of her Pakistani heritage, deeply rooted in her family's values and beliefs. As Samia blossomed into a young woman, the clash between these worlds intensified. Her family's adherence to Sunni Islam shaped their daily lives, influencing everything from their dietary habits to their social interactions. For Samia, this religious devotion often felt like a constraint, limiting her ability to fully embrace the British lifestyle she saw around her. The Shahid family's success was epitomized by her father's thriving limousine business. To the outside world, it represented the achievement of the immigrant dream. For Samia, however, it became a symbol of the weighty expectations placed upon her. The gleaming vehicles ferrying wealthy clients mirrored her own journey, outwardly impressive, but inwardly confined. Samia developed a passion for fast cars and the thrill of speed. This hobby became a powerful metaphor for her life, a desire for freedom and autonomy that she could only indulge away from her family's watchful eyes. Her friends became the keepers of this secret, witnessing a side of Samia that remained hidden from her parents and siblings. The pressure to conform to her family's expectations mounted as Samia approached her 25th birthday. In her parents' eyes, she had reached the age where marriage was not just expected, but necessary. The announcement came like a thunderbolt. Samia was to be wed in an arranged marriage to her cousin, Shakil. As the wedding day loomed closer, Samia's internal struggle intensified. Torn between her love for her family and her deep-seated longing for a life of her own choosing, she ultimately agreed to the marriage. The complex mix of emotions, love for her family, fear of disappointing them, and faint hope for happiness, carried her forward. As she boarded the plane bound for Pakistan where the wedding was to take place, the gravity of her decision hit her with full force. In a moment of raw vulnerability, Samia sent a message to a close friend. The words she typed were haunting, laden with fear and regret. It was a cry for help, a final expression of the doubts that had plagued her for so long. 3. A marriage of convenience. As the plane touched down in Pakistan, Samia's heart raced with a mixture of anticipation and dread. The lavish wedding that awaited her in Pandora village was a spectacle of tradition and family pride. But beneath the surface, a silent struggle was about to begin. The celebration was nothing short of extravagant. Over 1,000 guests gathered to witness the union of Samia and Shakil. Yet, as Samia stood beside her new husband, her smile masked the turmoil within. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine and spices, the sound of laughter and music, a stark contrast to the heaviness in her heart. As the newlyweds settled into their life together, the cracks in their relationship began to surface. The house gifted by Samia's father felt more like a gilded cage with each passing day. The cultural shift from her life in Bradford was jarring, and the expectations placed upon her as a new bride weighed heavily on her shoulders. Samia's attempts to adapt to village life in Pakistan proved to be an uphill battle. The oppressive heat, unfamiliar customs, and constant scrutiny from family members left her feeling isolated and overwhelmed. The simple pleasures she once enjoyed seemed distant memories, replaced by a suffocating sense of duty and obligation. After 4 months of struggling, Samia made the decision to return to Bradford alone. Upon her return, friends noticed a profound change in her demeanor. The once outgoing and spirited young woman had grown distant and resentful. Her eyes, once bright with enthusiasm, now carried a shadow of sadness and unspoken regret. The psychological impact of her forced marriage had taken its toll, leaving Samia feeling trapped between two worlds, belonging fully to neither. Shakil's constant demands for communication only exacerbated her growing sense of suffocation. The pressure to maintain family honor clashed violently with her desire for independence, creating a profound internal conflict. In a moment of raw vulnerability, Samia confided in a close friend. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I need to escape this marriage." This confession marked a turning point, the first crack in the carefully constructed facade of marital bliss. 4. A forbidden love blossoms. In October 2013, a chance online encounter set in motion a series of events that would lead to tragedy. Samia, trapped in a suffocating arranged marriage, connected with Syed Mukhtar Kazim, known as Ali, through social media. Their casual conversation quickly blossomed into a deep friendship, offering Samia a glimmer of hope in her bleak existence. Ali, a 30-year-old British Pakistani businessman, provided the emotional support and understanding Samia had long craved. Their virtual exchanges evolved into clandestine meetings in London, moments stolen from the watchful eyes of family and societal expectations. As their bond deepened, Samia began to imagine a life filled with love and companionship, a stark contrast to the emptiness she felt with Shakil. The psychological toll of this internal conflict was immense. Torn between personal autonomy and familial duty, Samia experienced severe emotional distress. The concept of honor in conservative cultures placed an enormous burden on her, making her desire for love feel like a betrayal of her family and heritage. Despite the risks, Samia sought a divorce from Shakil through the Islamic Sharia Council in the UK. This process, known as talaq, is complex, especially when the marriage is not legally recognized under British law. Citing coercion and lack of consent, she presented her case to a cleric who meticulously examined the evidence. Shakil's refusal to respond to the council's inquiries only strengthened Samia's position. After careful deliberation, the cleric declared Samia's marriage to Shakil invalid. This ruling, while not legally binding in the UK, provided Samia with the moral and religious justification she needed to move forward. In a daring move that defied cultural norms, Samia and Ali married in secret in September 2014. Recent studies indicate that up to 30% of British Pakistani couples engage in such clandestine unions, often due to cultural pressures and the desire to maintain family honor. However, these secret marriages come with significant risks. As Samia and Ali celebrated their union, a dark cloud loomed over their newfound happiness. The constant fear of discovery and potential repercussions cast a long shadow over their relationship. Little did they know that their act of defiance, born out of love and a desire for personal happiness, would soon unleash a chain of events that would shatter their world and shock a nation. 5. A web of deception unravels. The veil of secrecy surrounding Samia and Ali's marriage was about to be violently torn away. As news of their union reached Samia's family in May 2015, the fragile peace she had found shattered like glass. The Shahid family's refusal to accept Samia's choices set the stage for a dangerous game of cat and mouse, leaving her trapped between two worlds. The initial shock of discovery quickly gave way to a campaign of emotional manipulation and threats. Samia's relatives bombarded her with phone calls and messages, alternating between guilt-inducing pleas and explicit threats of violence. They invoked religious obligations, family honor, and community shame to pressure her into returning home. One chilling message warned, "You've brought disgrace upon us. There will be consequences." As weeks passed, the tension escalated. Samia's once familiar streets of Bradford now felt hostile. One evening, her worst fears materialized. In a dimly lit alley, she was ambushed by a group of male relatives. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving her battered and bruised. As she lay on the cold pavement, the message was clear. Her defiance would not go unpunished. Shaken to their core, Samia and Ali realized Bradford was no longer safe. They made the agonizing decision to leave for Dubai, seeking a fresh start far from the shadows of familial expectations. Yet the invisible threads of family ties proved impossible to sever completely. Despite the distance and danger, Samia couldn't fully let go. She made tentative attempts to reconcile with her parents, hoping time might have softened their stance. Each overture was met with hostility and manipulation, her family's words alternating between guilt and veiled threats. As months passed, Samia found herself caught in an emotional tug-of-war. The freedom she had found with Ali warred constantly with the deep-seated cultural programming that demanded obedience to family. This internal conflict left her vulnerable to her family's next insidious plan. They fabricated a heart-wrenching story about her father's rapidly failing health, playing on Samia's lingering sense of duty and guilt. Despite Ali's misgivings and her own doubts, she felt compelled to return to Pakistan. The decision went against every instinct of self-preservation, but the thought of her father's potential death without reconciliation was too much to bear. As Samia boarded the plane, a sense of foreboding settled over her. She clutched Ali's last warning. "Don't go. It's not safe." But the chains of cultural expectation pulled her inexorably forward, toward a country where over 1,000 honor killings occur annually. A stark reminder of the dangers faced by those who challenge traditional norms. 6. A tragic end in Pandora. As Samia's plane touched down in Pakistan, she became another potential statistic in a country where honor killings claimed over 1,000 women's lives annually. The village of Pandora, with its dusty streets and sun-baked mud houses, concealed a sinister undercurrent beneath its tranquil facade. The air hung heavy with the scent of jasmine and unspoken threats. Samia arrived yearning for reconciliation, believing time might have softened her family's stance on her marriage to Ali. But as days passed, that hope flickered and faded like shadows at dusk. On July 20th, 2016, Samia's communication with Ali abruptly ceased, plunging him into worry. Thousands of miles away, he could only imagine the worst as silence stretched on, each hour amplifying his dread. Police discovered Samia's lifeless body at the bottom of a staircase in her family's home. The scene struck a discordant note, a perfectly orchestrated performance marred by subtle inconsistencies. Conflicting stories emerged. Initial reports echoed her father's claims of a tragic accident. Other media suggested a heart attack or suicide. The family vehemently denied these narratives, deepening the mystery. A hasty burial followed, raising suspicions among those aware of Samia's fears. From Dubai, Ali launched a desperate quest for answers. Each frantic call brought contradictory information, leaving him more confused and distraught. As weeks passed, the circumstances grew murkier. The investigation faced significant hurdles, with allegations of bribery and corruption. The lead investigator would later be arrested for attempting to conceal evidence related to Samia's death. An autopsy report shattered the narrative of accidental death. It revealed Samia had been strangled, with a reddish-brown bruise encircling her neck. Male DNA in her body added another layer of horror. This revelation set in motion an international quest for justice, challenging entrenched cultural norms. Media attention exposed cracks in what appeared to be a coordinated cover-up. Samia's uncle was arrested for allegedly falsifying medical files, exposing the lengths some would go to maintain the facade of honor, even in the face of such a grievous crime. 7. The fight for justice. Begins Ali's bold press conference in Pakistan ignited a firestorm of controversy. Standing before a sea of cameras, he unveiled the damning autopsy report that revealed Samia's death as strangulation, not an accident. His courageous act came at a steep price. Death threats poured in, forcing him to live under constant protection. But Ali's determination sparked a movement that would reach across continents. In the United Kingdom, Samia's friends rallied together, their efforts catching the attention of Naz Shah, a member of parliament from Bradford. Shah, deeply moved by the case and its implications for her constituents, took decisive action. She penned an impassioned letter to Pakistan's Prime Minister, urging a thorough investigation and boldly characterizing Samia's death as an honor killing. This high-level intervention catapulted the case onto the international stage, forcing Pakistani authorities to take notice. The investigation took a dramatic turn as authorities arrested Shakil, Samia's first husband, and her father, Mohammed. Shakil's confession exposed the horrifying final moments of Samia's life, revealing a carefully orchestrated honor killing. However, the path to justice proved treacherous. After 2 years in custody, Shakil was released on bail, highlighting a troubling pattern in Pakistan's legal framework. One of the most significant hurdles lay in the legal system itself. In Pakistan, confessions obtained under police custody are inadmissible in court, severely hampering the prosecution's ability to secure convictions. This legal quirk, intended to prevent coerced confessions, inadvertently shielded those accused of honor killings. Many cases faltered due to insufficient evidence, as family members often refused to testify against their own. As obstacles mounted, international pressure became crucial. UK officials intensified their involvement, with the Foreign Office issuing strongly worded statements demanding justice. Advocacy groups organized protests and media campaigns, keeping Samia's story in the public eye. This external scrutiny became a lifeline for the case, preventing it from being quietly dismissed. The fight for justice extended beyond Pakistan's borders. In the UK, the conviction rates for honor-based violence painted a concerning picture. Many cases went unreported or unresolved, reflecting broader cultural stigmas. Samia's case became a rallying cry, exposing the need for better support systems and legal frameworks to protect vulnerable women, both in the UK and abroad. It sparked crucial discussions about legal reforms in both countries, challenging societal norms and pushing for change in the face of deeply entrenched cultural attitudes. 8. A legacy of unresolved justice. Samia's tragic fate became a powerful catalyst for change, igniting a firestorm of controversy and activism that reverberated far beyond Pakistan's borders. Her story exposed the deep-rooted cultural attitudes that perpetuated honor killings. In 2016, the Pakistani government passed the landmark Honor Killing Bill, aiming to close legal loopholes that had long shielded perpetrators. The legislation mandated life imprisonment for honor killings and removed the option for families to pardon murderers. However, the journey from law to justice proved far more complex than anticipated. The true test came in 2018 when Shakil, Samia's ex-husband and confessed killer, was released on bail after 2 years in custody. This shocking development exposed glaring flaws in the prosecution of honor-killing cases. Despite his confession, legal technicalities deemed it insufficient for conviction, highlighting the systemic issues that persisted even after legislative reform. The statistics painted a grim picture. Despite new legislation, reports indicated that around 1,000 honor killings still occurred annually in Pakistan. Many cases went unreported or unpunished due to societal pressures that prioritized family honor over justice. Samia's case became a rallying cry for women's rights advocates worldwide. In Pakistan, grassroots organizations launched awareness campaigns in rural areas, educating communities about women's rights and the legal consequences of honor crimes. Internationally, documentaries and social media campaigns kept Samia's story alive, pressuring Pakistani authorities to address the ongoing issue. As years passed, Samia's name became synonymous with the fight against honor killings. Her story was cited in parliamentary debates, used in educational programs, and shared as a cautionary tale of the devastating consequences of archaic cultural practices. The ongoing struggle highlighted the clash between tradition and progress. Women's behavior remained tightly controlled in many communities, with perceived transgressions seen as threats to family honor. This cultural backdrop created a complex landscape where legal reforms often struggled to take root. Activists and lawmakers recognized that addressing these cultural norms was essential for effective change. They advocated for a dual approach, combining legal reforms with efforts to change societal attitudes towards women's rights and autonomy. This strategy aimed to create an environment where women could seek justice without fear of reprisal or stigma. These are not honor killings, they are crimes of control, declares Baroness Warsi. As we reflect on Samia Shahid's tragic fate, organizations like the Muslim Women's Network UK provide crucial support for women facing forced marriages and honor-based violence. Their advocacy for legal reforms and awareness offers hope. Yet experts warn legislation alone isn't enough. Comprehensive education is vital to shed light on this issue and women's rights. What do you think about this case? Do you believe Samia's tragic fate could have been prevented? Was her family's fixation on honor entirely cultural, or were other factors at play? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out the poll on our community page, where you can share your perspective on this case. If you found Samia's story compelling, you might also want to explore our coverage of similar cases, like the Watts case, now featured on our channel. Don't miss it.